Hey guys, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube. I've got a new product in from Shanling Audio Company out of China. I've tried all their other DAPs so far, the M2, the M3, the M5. This is the little brother, the baby of the family, the new M1. There's been a lot of talk about it on HeadFi because it's tiny. Very small little DAP. It looks like a little iPod Nano. It's perfect for stacking with a Mojo, although you can use it as like a little sports DAP. Strap it on your arm with the armband. Take it for a run. So, here's the box it comes in. Nice simple black box. Look over on the sides, might be hard to see here, it just says Shanling M1 on the sides. On the top, little Shanling logo. Again, same thing on the other side, Shanling and logo. And then on the back, just has some boilerplate info. One thing that I thought was interesting that I didn't see online so far was that they mention a red M1. I have seen the black, the white, and the blue, but I hadn't seen a mention of a red one yet. Maybe I just missed it, but they do point out red right over here. This one's the blue one. I'm going to open it up in just a sec and show you guys what's inside the box. Alright, let's open it up and see what's inside. We first open the box. You can see there's a quick guide. It just tells you what the button layouts are, and I'll go over that in a minute anyway when I get it out and turn it on. And a little bit of info about Shanling. Alright, out of the way with that. Pull out the little M1. Come on, M1. And I think you can see this guy is tiny. Right, there it is in the palm of my hand. That guy's small. So, what do you have on the M1? Got the screen. I already put the screen cover on. They throw in a couple of those for you. It's not pre-applied, excuse me, but it's pretty easy to put on yourself. Has nice, like most smartphones nowadays, it's got the rounded glass on the sides, the 2.5D glass they call it. On the back, it's also a nice blue color there. It says Shanling. It's got the FCC info down at the bottom. You can see the wheel there, so that is not only a scroll wheel but also a click-in wheel. You click in at a 45-degree angle there to select things. They provide a couple of screen covers or a couple of protective covers for the back, so I threw it on there as well so it won't get scratched up. And let's take a look at the rest of it. Over here on the left side, got the back or return button at the top, and then you've got a up and a down button. It's for just going through the menu. And over here on the right side, you got the power button, and you have your knurled scroll wheel. So you just scroll up and down with that. It's got detents in it, so you get little clicks, and then you can click it in. Alright, and I'm going to set this aside for just a minute. Oh, sorry, I forgot. On the top, not much there. I think that's just a little plastic cover for the Bluetooth transmission. And then down on the bottom, headphone jack, USB-C, and a micro SD card slot. I've already got my card in there because I've been playing around with this. And, alright, now I'm going to set it aside. And let's see what else is in the box. Pull out the little protective foam case. Get a little plastic box inside, or sorry, a little black paper box inside there. Open that guy up and dump out the contents here. You can see what they've got. Alright, you have user manual, and this will be in Chinese and English. Chinese on one side, English on the other. So once you get it, it'll tell you how to use it. It's pretty easy though. Okay. Warranty card. Gotta have a warranty card. Again, it's got English for you, so no worries there. Comes with a few different cables. You got USB-C to regular old USB here, USB-C to USB-C, and a USB-C to a micro USB. And I already put on the screen protectors, but they provide you with a couple of extras just in case yours gets scratched up. Throw on a new one. A little protective port cover, so if you aren't using the headphone jack, you're just using it as a pure transport, you can cover up the headphone jack so you don't get dust in it. Nice touch. And they've got a little micro SD card adapter for your computer, so you can pop that in and transfer files over, speed up the process as opposed to just putting it inside your M1. Alright, and I'm actually not sure if this guy is USB 2 or 3. I don't use it. I just put the cards into the slot on my MacBook Pro and do it that way, so guess I'd have to check. Alright, back in a minute. Alright, I'm going to turn it on. So to do that, again, I showed you before, but there's a power button over here on the right side of the unit. So you're just going to grab it and hold that down for a quick second. It'll boot up. Right now there's a bug so that it actually shows that boot image upside down at first, but then it switches back to the right orientation, so no worries. It's not like you're going to have it showing up in the improper orientation all the time. So the screen just went off. If you want the screen to go on, I've got it set for a pretty short screen timeout. Push that power button, and it'll display press power again to unlock, so you don't just accidentally unlock the screen all the time. There we go. We've got now playing. Screen on. I'm playing some Fleetwood Mac. It starts up playing already. And you know what? I'm actually going to dive into the menu and turn the screen timeout up so you get to see how that would work. Over on the left at the top is the return button here, so I'm going to push that for a long press once I get the screen activated. Alright, long press. Now I'm in the menu. Now, actually, I'm just going to pick this up and pop it in my hand so you can see. It's really meant to use in your hand anyway. So, once I get it on here, I'm going to use the scroll wheel and just scroll either down, or you can go back. There's backwards scrolling, so I can scroll to System Settings, click the little scroll wheel in. Now I'm going to go down to the backlight timer, click the scroll wheel in. Oops, sorry, missed it there. Go down, click in the scroll wheel timer, and I'm going to set it up here for 40 seconds. Alright, and I'm going to back out now, and I'll just go over the various options. So quite obviously now playing is going to take me back to now playing, and you know, depending upon how you're handling it, I'm obviously not holding it in the quite the way I'd like to hold it because I'm positioning it for y'all to see, but you can get a little jumpiness in the scroll wheel if you aren't holding it in a very ergonomic fashion, which I'm not doing right now. Usually it's pretty easy to nail exactly where I'm trying to go to in the list, but doing this video for you guys, I might have a few more errors than I normally would. So don't take that into account when you're thinking about how you'll be handling this in your hand. Okay, so now that I'm in the now playing screen, there's some things I can do. If I want to interact with it, I can hold down that return and go back to the main menu. And I can hold down the return again and go back to the now playing screen. I can also hold down, do a long press on the click wheel, and I can get different choices like change the play mode, add to playlist, turn on lyrics if I have a lyric file, go into the play settings, or go into the system settings. So that's really nice. I like it that they give those options, especially the ones about going into the settings menu. That's really handy, so you don't have to go all the way into the settings menu every time. You can just do it from the now playing screen in one quick shot. My music. Alright, open all, so that's like a shuffle all songs option. You can favorite things instead of putting them on a playlist. I don't tend to do that unless I'm kind of A-Bing a DAP, and I'm not doing that with this one right now, so I don't have to worry about it. And again, this My Music is where you scan your SD card into the M1's database, so that will then sort by tag with albums, genre, artist, and then your playlist. And again, it just goes back and forth between the last and the first with that recirculating, recycling, kind of reverse scrolling option. I like that. I don't like the DAPs where you can't go from the top to the bottom and the bottom to the top in one click or one move of the scroll wheel. So I'm happy that they did that. Alright, let's go back here. I typically use, and if you notice, I kind of like this. They did this with the M2 and the M5 as well, where they show the album art over here on the side. That's cool. And let's go into File Browser. That's what I honestly do all the time. I use File Browser. We'll go into my SD card. You can see how I have them all laid out hierarchically. I've got some alphabet. I've got it alphabetized at the top. So let's go into A through C. And then I've got different artists. I know I've got a few albums by Alva Noto and Ryuichi Sakamoto. Love that artist. And when I go inside, I organize them with the year of release and then the album name, so they all sort by release date, because with a lot of these Chinese DAPs, you're not going to get the year incorporated into excuse me, you won't get the year incorporated into the music database when you won't read that tag, so there's no way to sort by release date, and I like that. And then I get track number and the name of the song, and then you just click on it and you start playing. So all pretty normal stuff, pretty easy stuff. Let's get back into, let's go to play settings. You can see what those look like. Maximum volume. I mean, this is all pretty standard stuff if you're familiar with like a Cayenne or a FIO or a Questyle or a Shanling DAP. Their GUIs are all made in partnership with Hy-Vee Music, so they all look fairly similar. They're all using the same CPU, so they all do about the same thing. They can get a max volume limit, so you can limit it if you don't want to deafen yourself when you're using sensitive earphones and you never use anything that's got a higher impedance or lower sensitivity. Then you can set a maximum volume. I never worry about it. Default volume, so you can say, what kind of volume do you want. I always set it at 20 and then I go up from there, so just in case I have something pretty sensitive, I don't deafen myself. Oops. Sorry, let's go back in here. Resume mode. So you can resume at either nothing. This is like the breakpoint memory, so you can either have no breakpoint memory. It can start out at the song, just the beginning of it, or at the location you left off at. I always leave it on location. There is gapless playback in this guy, and it works pretty well. There's the EQ, which somebody on Head5 was asking about, so you can go in here and you got rock, classical, jazz, pop, and I like the little icons, especially the guy here. You like throwing some horns for the rock. Pop, dance, vocal, sentimental, I'm not quite sure what that is. Metal, which, yeah, I like that. It's got a skull. Listen to metal. I don't actually use any of these though. And a custom EQ, so you can go in here and set your own EQ if you want. Just click on that guy. You can see it highlighted the 31 hertz range, and now I can actually haven't gone in to customize these guys. You can scroll through. I've now selected one, so I can go through and scroll and say, alright, I want it up, or I want to go up with it or down with it. And then once you are done, just hit the return, and you can go back to EQ reset if you don't like it. So I'm going to reset it because I don't need to worry about the EQ. And I'm going to go turn it off because I don't want EQ. Okay, what else can you do here? Gain setting, I've got it on low gain because I don't need high gain for most of what I'm listening with. Channel balance, you can set the balance between right and left channels. That's good. Play mode, your typical stuff here. Just play through the list. Repeat one track, shuffle, repeat everything. I usually leave it on list play because I like to listen to albums. Folder skip, so it'll skip from one folder to the next, one album to the next. I usually leave that on. A lot of people like that feature. And that's it. So now I'll go back and we'll go into the regular settings. And here we go. Alright, you can tell it to update music automatically. So if you pop in an SD card, it's going to scan the database automatically. If you put any new music on it, it's going to update automatically. I don't actually worry about that. Update my music immediately. That means right now I want to update my music. So you click the scroll wheel and it will go into the update function. I don't want to do that, so it'll take a little bit of time. It's actually not too long, just takes a couple minutes for my 200 gig card, so it's pretty fast. Bluetooth, so you can go in here and, oops, missed Bluetooth. No, went way past it there. So there's Bluetooth, so you can go in and say Bluetooth on or off. We've got it off right now. General things, backlight brightness, your timer, auto shutdown, shutdown timer. So auto shutdown is just saying, like if I want to let it sit for, excuse me, I have it set for 5 minutes. So if you want your music player to shut down after 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever you got here, what does it have options for? I think 1, 3, 5, etc. I don't like to shut down too quickly because people bother me at work, so I've got to pause the music and I don't have to turn it back on every time. Shutdown timer, that's like your sleep timer. Screen locked operations, that means if you've got the screen off, do you want to be able to pause, play, fast forward, etc. I like to do that with the screen off, so I leave that on. Automatically back to playing. So that means you turn it on, and do you want this thing to start playing right away? I don't think so. At least I think that's what that means. Themes, you can have different themes. I'm not a big fan of changing the themes on here. I like the first one, but I'll show you what they look like. So here's theme 2. It's got some geometrical pattern, but it makes the highlight in the list kind of yellowish, which I'm not a fan of. Here is one that's like a wood background. It's not a fan of that one either. A purple and red one. Not too bad. It kind of reminds me of a Fio player though. I don't know. And I just like the standard one, the space theme with the nice kind of gray-white highlights. I like that one the best. Has a clock, so you need to set your clock on here. So you have timer. So I've got a 24-hour clock. I've already set the time. Don't need to worry about that. And one thing, oh, there you just saw it too. Unlike some of the other DAPs, when you go back into the settings, it doesn't automatically go to the first item on the list. It goes back to where you left off, which is kind of nice, So if you accidentally got out, like I just did, and you need to get back, and you really wanted to set that clock, then it goes right back to where you left off at the clock. And here's where you set the clock. Very easy to do. Just go in, select on the left for the hour, on the right for the minutes, and you're done. USB mode, so you can set it for either USB file transfer or DAC. And I've just been using it for USB file transfer so far, or USB out mode. I like to go to my Mojo, set the language, and an about. And you can restore the factory settings. And you can update the system. And that is it. That's basically a tour of the interface. So I'll go back to now playing screen. There we go. And so how do you play with this guy? So to play pause, clicking on the scroll wheel. So I will pause it now. And then I will play. And for volume, you can start turning the scroll wheel. It's got 120 volume units, so you can fine tune it for sensitive earphones or headphones. If you got some high impedance headphones, that does mean that you gotta do a lot of scrolling up if you want to get to a good spot. So for you guys, I would suggest going in and setting the default volume higher than I set it. That will get you, that will cause you less pain in scrolling. And if you want to skip tracks, you know, these buttons over here on the left, you need to skip your tracks, so skip back up here, and then the bottom one, skip to the next track. Yeah, just keep skipping along. And you know, it's basically that simple. That's about, I don't know what else you need out of a DAP. And again, long press on your click wheel and you can go into various handy settings. And I don't think there's that much more to show you here. So I'm going to turn it off, and then I'll show you, I'll come back and show you the case, and I'll also show you my Mojo setup in just a minute here. So let me shut it down. There we go. Turn it off. Alright, I'll be back in just a minute with the case. Alright, here is the case I got along with the M1. It was nice of Shanling to send a case to try out too. You can see it's just got a little frame around the top that helps to make a bumper to protect the glass screen. And then over on the left side, you've got little indents for for the return and skip tracks. On the bottom, you have cutouts, of course, for USB-C connector and your headphone jack. Over on the right side, you got a little indent for the power button up here. On the back, you've got a cutout so you can mess around with the scroll wheel. So this case won't interfere with the scroll wheel. It's got Shanling stamped on it, and it's got a little snap down here, so you can undo the snap, and you can put an armband into it. Right? So you just slip a little armband in that guy, snap it back up, and now you're ready to go out for a run. And the armband comes with it. I think it's got 2 armbands with it actually. I don't go out for runs because I've got some knee problems, so I don't strap this thing to my arm. But I can see someone like my wife. She likes to go out for a jog. She might like to take it out if she listens to more music. She doesn't tend to, so she just goes jogging in silence and listens to all the cars and the animals and people around her. Alright, and to get the M1 into this, you just grab your M1 and slip it down in from the top, and there you go. You got your M1 in the case, and it's pretty easy to use. Doesn't really limit the functionality in any way. One thing that I will say that I wish were maybe not quite the case here with this case is when you push that power button on, and later on if you want to go and kind of, you grab this guy and you want to, say the screen times out and you want to press it, just the placement of the return button, it's not quite exactly on the other side, but it's close enough that if I push the power button, I accidentally push the return button sometimes, and that's exacerbated by the case, just because with the case off, it's easier to feel where those buttons are and avoid them. With the case on, it's smooth, so you end up with a few more mispresses there. That's the case. I like the case. Looks like it's a nice case for protecting it. I like the color, it matches. Nice blue color. I feel like I'm not going to scratch up the M1, especially the back with it. And that's about it. Now I'm going to stop for one more minute, and then I will bring in the Mojo and show you how I connect that bad boy. So one of the reasons that the M1 is so talked about on HeadFi right now, I mean, it's not just because it's so damn tiny and cute. I mean, this thing is really cute and pocketable. I mean, it's a really easy DAP to pop in your pocket if you want a good or a better solution than just listening to your phone. Then you can take this guy along on its own. If, however, you want to use it with something like your Mojo, you know, get your Mojo on, baby, then all you do is take your Mojo. I mean, obviously this is not teaching you guys much here, but just to show you what it looks like. This is actually not a cable that came with the M1. This is a cable I got before that off of let's see, eBay. USB Type-C to micro USB, and that's about it. And I've got these two popped together there. Makes quite the cute little stack, right? Oops, sorry about bumping that. Quite the cute little stack, right? One thing that makes it a little hard, there's no good place to put a band here, so you want to use something else. You want to get maybe some 3M dual lock, you know, get some Velcro. One of my HeadFi buddies suggested some blue tack. Just get something to affix it, take away the ugly bands. You won't block your, you know, the balls on your Mojo. And that's one nice thing about this as a transport too, is that you can line it up with the left side. You know, like line the M1 up kind of with the left side and the bottom of your Mojo here, and it leaves these balls completely exposed. Really easy to change the volume with these compared to a lot of DAPs that you're going to pair your Mojo up with, where you're blocking the balls there. So that is the M1 with Mojo. It's pretty small. I mean, it's not the thinnest thing in the world, obviously, but you know, the fact that the DAP is quite a bit smaller than the Mojo is nice, and gives you more accessibility to the buttons is nice. And for the size it is, I mean, that's a damn high quality portable setup I've got here. So I've been using this with various in-ear monitors. So right now iBaseO sent me the ITO3. I need to review those sometime soon, and I've been listening to the ITO3 with this. My buddy Shotgun Shane sent me the Fender lineup, so I've been listening to the Fender lineup with this. When I was at RMAF, I just got the Meza 99 Classics. I've been left those at work since they're closed cans. I've been taking this to work and listening to the Meza 99 Classics with this. And I also bought Nighthawk, the AudioQuest Nighthawk, and I love those things. I know they're controversial. I don't get why. They just sound naturally beautiful to me. I love the Nighthawk, and I've been listening to the Nighthawk with this setup as well. So for me, I think this is a fantastic solution, and again, on its own, it's not bad. It's got an AKM DAC, and I like the AKM DACs. It's not the 4490 though. I mean, that's the one I'm most familiar with. I've got in my Cayenne DAPs and my Shanling M5. This one's got the 4452, which is, I think it's a little less powerful solution. And, you know, it's not using a Muse's op amp, which I like in my Shanling M5. But, you know, it sounds good. It sounds a hell of a lot better than my OnePlus 3, I tell you that. So if I were going out on a walk and I wanted to listen to some music, I didn't want to take a bigger DAP with me, or, you know, and I'm not going to wander around with the Mojo in my pocket when I'm going out for a fast exercise walk, because it's, you know, it's not the lightest thing. But this guy is a fantastic solution for just throwing something in your pocket, getting a lot better sound than you will out of your phone, and it's not going to break the bank. It's going for, I think, around 150 with the case on AliExpress right now. I haven't seen it hit Amazon yet, but I'm hoping once it hits Amazon that it'll come down in price a little bit, and you won't get the case with it, but it'll be a little bit cheaper of a solution. Not everybody's going to want the case anyway, so I don't think it's a big deal if it doesn't come with the case. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up, and I just did this all in one take for everything, so forgive me if I've got a little bit of allergies right now. A few coughs here and there. I might have bumped the tripod a time or two, but I've got a wife and kids, so I'm doing this while my wife is out for a jog with the kids, so time is limited. I'm just going to run over and pop this onto my MacBook Pro and upload for you guys to check out. Thanks for your patience with the extremely non-professional video quality and probably audio quality, but thanks for taking a look, and I'll be back hopefully in the near future with a look at some other things, like I could give you a look at the iBasso ITO3. One cool thing I got in recently is the little Indonesian digital audio player made for an audio club in Indonesia. Right now I've got the only one that the club sold outside of Indonesia was sold directly to me. Sounds fantastic. It's a screenless DAC, kind of like the Shozy Alien. Like that thing. Great audio quality, and you can change the op amps in it, which is fun, so you can tune it a little bit. I'm getting a amp from them in the very near future, and soon as it comes out, that same designer for the Indonesian audio club is releasing a multi-bit DAC very soon. So a DAC with a multi-bit DAC. It's going to sound smooth and organic and lovely. I just know it. And those things are tiny. They're just a little bit bigger than the M1 here, but they are screenless. It's no gapless on them. Not the most professional looking DAC in the world, but man, the audio quality was great. I took it to RMAF with me, and people there were offering to buy it off me for twice what I paid for it because they loved the way that little guy sounded. Yeah, so I've got some things coming up, and for now I'm just going to take off. Thanks for listening, and hopefully you enjoyed it and learned something. Bye-bye.